Hey, Curtis.
Hey, Oz.
What movie you got for us this week?
Oh, this week we got a doozy. We've got Ferris Bueller's Day Off with some Batman and Yoda. Throw in some swingers, all in the pursuit of Follow That Bird.
Ooh.
This week we're talking about Spider-Man Homecoming.
Follow That Bird's a nice touch.
I was very proud of myself.
Yeah,
for
that's
Follow
a
That
good
Bird.
one. That's a very good one.
It's like, what movies are there that where the name involves a bird or like
Yeah.
a bird of prey? And like, follow that bird.
Follow That Bird. Nicely done. Welcome back, listeners and viewers, to another week of Let's Talk About Flicks, the podcast where we take a monthly theme. It is Spider-Man month.
It is.
I'm one of your hosts, Oz.
I'm the other host, Curtis.
And we want to give a shout out to our Patreon subscribers, Don S., Aaron A., Mandy K., Melissa L., Colin K., and Lyle M. Thank you all for your patronage.
Yes, thank you, one and all.
Yeah. So we are, this is our last live action Spider-Man
Yes.
that we're covering. We've got 5 weeks. This is week 3. Excuse me. And so this is the last of the big, the trident of Spider.
Yes, you might be curious what's coming next. We will get to that at the end of the episode.
Yes, we will. So this is your movie this week.
Yes. So who's in Spider-Man Homecoming?
Well,
Oz?
we are not introduced to Tom Holland as Peter Parker, as we have already been introduced to Tom Holland as Peter Parker in Captain America:
second
Civil
canonical.
War.
Yes.
This is our second intro. Well, not intro, but this is our. And I'll get to this a little bit too. This is not our origin story either.
No.
Which is kind of a breath of fresh air. Like, we were introduced to Peter as Peter Parker. Oh my gosh, we were introduced to Tom Holland as Peter Parker / Spider-Man in Captain America: Civil War. That was obviously once Marvel, I won't say jumped the shark, but realized, who cares what we title these things? We're going to throw 14 Avengers in a movie anyway.
Yeah.
You see the new Captain America movie with Spider-Man and Iron Man?
Do you see the new Captain America movie with Hawkeye?
Exactly. Yeah. And so, but yeah, Tom Holland is Peter Parker / Spider-Man, the youngest actor to portray Spider-Man in a movie. And
I think was only 19 when they filmed Civil War.
And a young looking man anyway. So it really, he pulls off what Maguire and Garfield struggled with, is the actually looking like a teenager. Michael Keaton, the Batman reference, and the Follow That Bird reference. He is Adrian Toomes and Vulture in this movie.
Great name, great comic book name, Adrian Toomes.
Exactly. So, and I think Michael Keaton does a great job as Vulture. Michael Keaton does a great job, period. But,
he's just a solid actor.
Yeah, Michael Keaton is very reliable. Jon Favreau is Happy Hogan.
Yes, he is.
I enjoy his character in this because, as much as a kiss up as he is to Iron Man and some of the other upper level Avengers, he's completely dismissive of Spider-Man. It's
so dismissive.
Just like, you're not on my radar yet, kid. You know? Despite Spider-Man, being worthy, but Happy is he's not.
Well, he's just so annoyed by him and annoyed that he's the one responsible for kind of keeping track of him.
Yeah. So, and then Zendaya is Michelle. She's our MJ character. And so we've not, this is pre-relationship MJ and Peter. This is a fun portrayal of MJ as she's an oddball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's kind of, I know last week we were talking about how, the Andrew Garfield version of Peter Parker was kind of not so much nerdy, but kind of an outcast. Like MJ is kind of the outcast of this.
Almost by choice. Like you get the vibe. I really like Zendaya as an actress. You get the vibe almost. I got the vibe in this movie of like, she's she's afraid of being included.
Yeah.
So she discludes herself, like,
Yeah.
by design. Donald
she's
Glover,
intentionally very kind of caustic to keep people at arm's length.
Yeah. So we got Donald Glover makes an appearance as Aaron Davis, who we know later becomes the Prowler. Jacob Batalon is Ned, which is the man in the chair.
The man in the chair
for Peter. And he's such a nerd, and I love him for it. The actual love interest in the movie, Laura Harrier, is Liz. We'll get to who Liz turns out to be a little bit later, but
she dated Clay Thompson. I was looking at some of the backgrounds of some of the actors. Yeah, she dated Clay Thompson of the Golden State Warriors.
Yeah, and but now he's, I think, with Megan Thee Stallion.
Is he?
I think so.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good for Megan Thee Stallion.
Yeah. Well, actually, everything that I've kind of seen socially, she is the one that it's like, I can't believe I've landed such a nice guy.
Aww.
So, yeah. And again, he makes his own.
Good for the Thompson / the Stallion.
The Stallion. Yeah. It's good for the Balboas. Yeah. So she's a senior, and we get the vibe Peter's like a freshman or sophomore.
I think he's a sophomore in this.
Yeah. So he's got a crush on an older woman. We get a just as bullyish Flash, but not athletically bullyish Flash.
Yeah.
Tony Revolori. I love that the competitive high school base for this movie is who's smarter.
Yeah. Not the academic team.
Yeah. We get Bokeem Woodbine.
Yeah, we do.
As Shocker. Marissa Tomei as Aunt May, which is the youngest version of Aunt May we've seen.
Oh, by far.
Yeah.
And they intentionally make her appear very young. And
yeah. And just kind of, just Lucy and pretty, and it's it's fun. And then, of course, it is a Marvel movie, so we got to have a Tony Stark. So Robert Downey Jr. is in the movie. We get some Chris Evans as like PSA guy, and Jennifer Connelly voices Karen, Peter's AI suit voice, which is kind of a fun play as her husband does the voice of Jarvis, and Gwyneth Paltrow's in a seat. So but this is very much a Spider-Man movie with like Avengers sprinkles on it.
Yeah.
So
that's what you get when you go to Dunkin'. You get the Avengers sprinkles.
Exactly. Can you get the Avengers sprinkles? They're red, white, and blue.
We'll say there's also some fun cameos in this.
There are a lot of fun cameos.
Hannibal Buress.
Yes, Hannibal Buress.
Starr.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I forgot those guys. Yeah. Buress is the completely checked out gym teacher.
Martin Starr is the very competitive academic team coach.
Yeah. And we get introduced to some characters that become they elevate a little bit. Like they become like cast members in the next movie. Like your Betty Brant character.
Yeah.
They get a little bit more. But yeah, this is Stan Lee's got a cameo, and
of course he does,
because he was alive then.
It was a pre-dead Stan Lee.
Yeah,
just for clarity,
he was in the rubble. But yeah, that's your cast. It feels larger than most, especially last week where it really was just Peter. It was
much more contained.
Peter and Gwen and Lizard and Dad was pretty much last week.
Well, this is part of the MCU.
Yeah.
And they don't shy away from that.
No.
And there's references to the Avengers. You see, you see Avengers Stark Tower. It's all.
There. Like Stark Tower is like a main plot piece of the third act of this movie. So there we are. There's the cast. It is large, not all important, but some of these, definitely like Donald Glover's Aaron Davis is not overly important, but it's still like a fun little throwaway because you're like, he makes reference to his nephew living in the rough part of town, and it's like we know that's going to be Miles, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So, what's this movie about? I mean, it's not an origin story, so it's got to be about something.
It is about something. You're not wrong, Oz. Speaking of the larger MCU, we open on Adrian Toomes. He's looking through his kids' coloring pages. His daughter, then like around 8 or whatever, had colored the Avengers, because we open post Battle of New York.
Yeah.
We're looking a couple of days, maybe a couple of weeks after the Battle of New York. That part of Manhattan is still in rubble. He expositions to an underling, the Tinkerer, which I love the people who work in the shop.
Yeah, I do too.
Phineas Mason, the Tinkerer character, about how there's aliens in the world.
Yeah.
And he looks up at Avengers Tower, again, post Battle of New York, and his crew is clearing away wreckage. They're a wreckage crew. They clear things out, and there's this huge battle. So there's a lot of work there. There's a lot of money in it for Toomes and he's kind of a self-made man.
Yeah.
Is kind of the impression you get. He built his business from the bottom up, and he's worked hard. He takes care of his family. And as his crew is getting ready to keep hauling things away, Tyne Daly, I didn't even bother to take her real name down. Just Tyne Daly from Damage Control, which is a Stark subsidiary, shows up to say, we're now in charge of all the cleanup. You and your crew can go. And he pleads for his workers, like, I hired extra people on for this. I bought extra trucks for this. He's denied. He ends up punching an official. Back at their headquarters, Toomes decides they had already done some salvage work, and they came across some of the alien tech, and they decided to keep it, even though they were supposed to turn it back over to Damage Control. And Tinkerer is just kind of like, I can make some cool stuff out of this.
Yeah, yeah. He's Toomes' man in the chair.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Toomes says it's time they changed, and we cut to 8 years later, Oz. Which, well, that's going to come back. Later on as well. If you don't, I will. And Toomes is in full Vulture gear. So we're now in 2020, even though this film was made in 2017. And to this point, the MCU had all been sort of in real time.
Yeah.
Like the Battle of New York, the Avengers movie was set in 2012 when it came out. And now, we're in 2020, despite the fact that the movie came out in 2017.
Well, how did they know what was going to happen 3 years later? Like, I'm switching my How did they film this in 2017 and know what was going to happen in 2020?
There's so many more things they could have predicted.
Yeah. Anyway. Whatever.
So Toomes is in full Vulture gear, and he's coming back from basically a robbery, with more alien tech.
Yeah.
Business is good. That's what he says. So that's the implication, is that's what he and his crew have been doing for the last 8 years, is they've been stealing alien tech.
It's good to see that when Mr. Mom gets a job, this is the job he starts for himself.
Yeah.
Entrepreneur. I'm tired of changing diapers and vacuuming floors.
I'd like to think that, again, this is Mr. Mom and Spider-Man Homecoming are set in the same universe.
I don't see why they wouldn't be.
Yeah. And Multiplicity also.
Yeah. Well, that's why he gets the job done. That's all the employees he hired on.
So they're all just clones of him.
Alien tech.
An orchestra plays that Here Comes the Spider-Man over the Marvel Studios logo. Kind of fun little twist on the normal MCU intro. And we flash back to the Cap Civil War era. You see Happy flying. So it's basically like Peter's perspective on what had happened leading up to the battle at that airport in Munich in Civil War. Happy flies Peter over on a private jet to Berlin. Peter's trolling Happy the whole time. Peter gets his Stark suit, like you see him open it up. Mm-hmm. And you see his point of view as he enters the battle. Like he had set up a phone to record things, and
it was fun.
Yeah. And then you see Happy and Tony with his black eye that he got at that battle, dropping Peter off at home and telling him you get to keep the suit.
Yeah.
2 months later, Peter's taking the bus to school. He meets Rich Bag, Flash Thompson, who, as you mentioned before, is not the jock bully, but is more of internet troll bully.
Yeah. Yeah. The I'm better than you bully.
Yeah. And so we also see Betty Brant, as you mentioned earlier. She's doing the school news. They have like, their low budget,
very low budget,
school, video school news promoting the homecoming dance.
Yeah.
Ned comes up to Peter at his locker and he's like, I got that new 4,000 piece Lego Death Star.
Yeah. Yeah. And Peter's equally excited for it.
Yeah, he is. God, as you mentioned before, I love how nerdy Ned is, and and how he and Peter, like they're such good friends, and they just feed off each other's energy.
Yeah.
Peter eyes up again Liz Allen, also a co-member of the academic team.
Yes,
two years
she's
to see
captain, I believe.
Yeah. We meet against snarky Michelle, making fun of Ned and Peter. Peter secretly making web fluid in his science class. And we learned the Academic Club Nationals are coming up in Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
Or as Mike Ditka would pronounce it, in Washington.
Washington.
Come on down to Washington Street. There's a famous radio clip. I think it was an old Terry Boers thing where it was the old Mike Ditka show, which was one of the things that, for better and for worse, kind of put the score on the map. And they were taking phone calls, and somebody said something that Ditka didn't like, and Ditka says, why don't you come on down to my office on Washington Street and I'll whoop your,
Yeah. I'm going to challenge you to a fight.
Yes. Oh, Mike Ditka. So much wrong with him.
Yeah.
After school is done, we get some Blitzkrieg bot play at Oz. While Peter suits up, we get a kind of a montage here of him apprehending criminals. Like he's giving directions. Like he's being your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
You took the words out of my mouth. He was just being a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
Yeah. He's kind of screws up a lot. Like he mistakes a carjacking for a guy who had locked his keys in his car.
Right.
Peter's constantly checking in with Happy for his next mission, and he's willing to give up the DC trip for it, like because he wants to be there, for Tony. He wants to keep doing good. That's his desire, but there's nothing for him. And Happy, as you mentioned earlier, is just very dismissive of him. Peter ends up taking on some crooks, a little higher stakes, finds some crooks breaking into an ATM machine. Then they're wearing plastic Avengers masks, like Halloween masks. And they're using Shatari tech to break into this ATM, which is quite interesting. Little fight, kind of a fun fight ensues, and then you get some of the classic Spider-Man banter as he's like, I don't think you guys are really the Avengers.
Yeah. And again, we haven't seen much of that out of Garfield. But then again, it was Sony couldn't play in the sandbox.
Yeah.
So, he was able to take some liberty. They were able to take some liberties here that they weren't able to with Garfield and McGuire. So
because these robbers are using this Chitauri tech, this alien tech, they act as they're fighting Spider-Man. One of them accidentally sets off a blast that basically blows up a bodega across the street that Peter frequents. He does end up, he is able to save the bodega owner as well as the bodega cat that resides there.
Yeah.
But Peter kind of gets his first taste of like the consequences and again, the responsibility that comes with being a superhero, that comes with being Spider-Man. Peter sneaks back into his room. He evades May, but Ned is there because again, Ned had come over. They were going to do that big Lego set. So May had let him in and he's just sitting in Peter's bedroom as Peter crawls in on the ceiling. So and Ned, who had already started construction of the Lego Death Star, just drops it because he sees Spider-Man. He sees his best friend is Spider-Man.
Right.
I dropped the Lego Death Star too.
I don't know how this is always a thing, and it doesn't need to be a thing, but I feel like they create the opportunity for the thing of how did Peter not know Ned was there?
Yeah.
Like with your spider senses, we see it. We see them all the time, but it's like one of those that, how did you, but whatever, maybe that's not how it works. I don't know.
It's Ned's not a threat to him.
Exactly. Yeah. The spider tingle doesn't work if it's not a threat.
The Peter tingle. As I think they call it in the second one.
Yeah.
Peter tingle. And I love Ned drops the Lego Death Star and he goes, you're the Spider-Man from YouTube. And Ned immediately wants to be Peter's guy in the chair. Yeah,
and Peter didn't cover it up. I mean, he just that's how much he loves and trusts Ned is.
Yeah.
Ned figures it out, and Peter just You can't tell anybody though.
Yeah. So while waiting outside and decide whether to arrive, I think I skipped something here. So basically, while back at school, while overhearing Liz talk about Spider-Man, Ned yells that Peter knows Spider-Man. Again, Ned can't keep his mouth shut.
No.
It's just how he is. And basically, Liz is having a big party, like kind of like a pre-homecoming party.
Yeah.
Birthday party, something like that. But and so Ned he doesn't reveal that Peter is Spider-Man, but he says Peter knows Spider-Man. And then they let Flash bully Peter into inviting Spider-Man to Liz's party. Ned is very excited.
Yeah. Because they're kids.
Yeah.
These are kids.
They're sophomores in high school. They're 15, 16 years old.
This behavior makes sense. Gwen Stacy having full access to Oscorp doesn't make sense for a high school kid. This makes sense for a high school kid.
Yeah, we might get into this later. I love how high school Peter and Ned are.
Yeah,
and
I'm gonna chalk it up. I'm gonna chalk it up to John Francis Daley being one of the screenwriters and his time on Freaks and Geeks. I mean, granted he didn't write that show, but he did it. Yeah. Like that was his. That's what if you know him, that's probably what you know him from.
Yeah, Freaks and Geeks actually would have been a great movie marriage inclusion for this because of John Francis Daley as well as Martin Starr.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Think about it.
You want to start over?
Yeah. Let's run it back. 3, 2. Well, waiting outside of the party and deciding or not whether to arrive as Spider-Man. He's trying to talk himself into it or out of it. Peter, again, he's in his Spider-Man gear. He sees kind of a blue explosion in the distance. Again, he's outside of Liz's party, but instead of going to the party and fulfilling, what they had told the Flash, he sees someone might be in danger, and he goes there instead, and he finds two guys. I'm going to say just two shockers.
Yeah,
Bokeem Woodbine, and then I forget the actor's name. He was in Prometheus.
Okay.
Trying to sell Aaron Davis the alien tech. So again, Donald Glover. Spidey intervenes. Shocker number 1 punches him with the tech. And we get the Ferris Bueller backyard chase here, Oz, which is again, it's at the end of Ferris Bueller's Day Off as he's running through the backyards to try to beat his parents home. It's that with Spider-Man as he's running through backyards because again, there's no skyscrapers around.
Right, exactly. Yeah. He's got to hoof it.
He's literally running through backyards, trying to cut off the bad guys here. Shocker number 2, which is the Bokeem Woodbine character, calls Toomes, who picks up, who answers and vultures up and ends up flying in and grabs Spider-Man in his Vulture gear and drops him from 1,000 feet in the air. Peter, unknowingly, because it's Stark tech, there's a parachute built into the suit, so it deploys, but he gets tangled in the chute, falls into a river. It is basically about to drown when Iron Man flies in to save him.
Yeah.
So Tony's kind of scolding him. Turns out Tony's not even there.
Yeah.
It's
like
just
at a party.
It's halfway around the world.
Yeah.
And it's just the shell of the suit. And he tells him, just be a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Just do the little things.
Stay in your lane. You're not ready.
Toomes is not happy with what happened here. Like, you're not supposed to deploy this alien tech as you're trying to sell it. And Toomes ends up accidentally killing Shocker number 1, the actor from Prometheus.
Melts him down.
Yeah, because he starts to become belligerent. He kind of threatens Toomes. Like, Toomes says, you're out. And he's like, I know all of this.
Yeah.
Like, you've got to keep me around, and I've got a price. And Toomes melts him. Oops.
Yeah.
I think the funny thing is, I don't think Toomes didn't intend to do that.
I don't think he did. No. I mean, it's one of those that like they don't even know necessarily the full, the full potential of this alien tech.
Yeah, exactly. So basically, at school, Ned and Peter disassemble a piece of the alien tech that Peter had recovered from the earlier fight. Bokeem Woodbine and another associate show up looking for it as their tech like kind of recognized that the tech Peter found had been activated, so they were able to track it.
Mm-hmm.
Peter plants a tracking device on Shocker number 2 on Bokeem Woodbine, and he and Ned they end up tracking it, and he goes all the way to Maryland. So Peter ends up rejoining the academic team for the DC trip. So basically he could get a free ride to close to Maryland, so he can follow up on what, Shocker number 2 was up to. So in DC, in their hotel room, Peter and Ned end up removing the Stark tracker from the spider suit so that Tony and Happy can't track him.
Right. They leave it in Peter's place.
Yeah. And Ned discovers that the suit has been in the training wheels protocol.
Yeah. Ned's pretty sharp.
He is. He can hack Stark tech.
Yeah.
So basically, Peter passes on swimming with Liz. She invites, like, they were going to sneak out and go to the pool.
Yeah. Ooh, at the hotel.
Yes. But again, it's very high schooly.
Very much so.
And these are good kids.
Yeah. And it's not so much we're sneaking out to swim in the hotel pool. It's that we're told we're supposed to be in our rooms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, these are good kids doing their version of something bad.
Right.
Yeah. And so Peter passes on swimming with Liz, again, his crush, to go after Shocker number 2, because again, that's Peter's moral compass. Peter's suit starts talking to him. Now that the training wheels protocol is gone, the suit's AI activates and starts talking to him. And it says, "Congratulations on completing the training wheels protocol." And so the suit assumes that he's mastered everything.
Oh yeah, that he knows what he's up to. He knows he's worthy.
Yeah. So Peter intercepts Vulture's crew stealing tech from a truck convoy. Vulture, basically, like Vulture, they had used the alien tech to like turn it into with an antimatter shifter. So they basically place this device on top of the truck, and it lets Vulture just step through it like it's a doorway.
Right.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
And so Vulture drops him through there and then shuts off the antimatter device, trapping Peter inside the truck bed. And Peter thought he could jump back out of it, and he ended up knocking himself out on the top of the truck. So he comes to in a damage control warehouse, again, still somewhere near DC, and he's stuck in there. He's stuck in one of the most secure places on Earth.
Yeah.
And so he spends his time talking to the AI, which he first calls Suit Lady, and then dubs Karen because he needed to talk to somebody, and he needed it to be a person-ish.
Yes.
Of course, because it's Peter, he ends up sciencing his way out of the warehouse. In the meantime, Midtown wins the academic decathlon without Peter.
Yeah.
And so the team, to celebrate, they go to the Washington Monument, because in a movie like this, Oz, you have to have some kind of globally recognized place that you go to. So everybody in the team except for Peter, they're in the monument, they're going up the elevator.
And Michelle.
Yes.
MJ didn't go up either.
Oh, that's right. You're right. MJ didn't go up either. Ned has this Shatari device in his backpack, and Peter had realized just in his work before that radiation can set off these devices, can set off the alien tech. And so as he's going through security, they scan bags and stuff using radiation. It activates this device that Ned has with him, and it detonates while Ned and most of the academic team is in the monument, in the elevator going up to the top. And so Peter arrives as Spider-Man, has to climb the monument, has to evade a police helicopter in the meantime, and ends up barely saving everybody.
Yeah.
So back at school, Peter tells Ned he's dropping out of school to join the Avengers full time. Like he's got bigger things here.
I have to do this.
Yeah.
No one's asked him to do it, by the way.
No.
He's still just... Yeah, it's very high school.
This is what he wants.
Yeah.
This is what he really thinks his path is to be an Avenger. And, he initially passed on that DC trip just to be available.
Yeah.
If Happy or Tony called him with a mission. And so
which they've both repeatedly told him, we're not going to do that.
Yes. But he's a naive 15-year-old. And and so to prove himself to Tony that he's ready for the Avengers, he's going to go after Vulture himself. So Spidey gets intel from Aaron Davis, who has a nephew.
Yeah.
That Vulture is doing a big deal with Matt Gargan, the guy who ends up eventually in the comics becoming Scorpion, on the Staten Island ferry. So Peter goes there. Stark tries to call him, and Peter ends up cutting him off. A fight ensues. He webs up Gargan, Shocker 2 and Associates. FBI agents appear because they'd been staking out this deal. So, Peter getting,
again, situation where Peter's involved himself with something that he shouldn't.
Yep. This is much bigger than him.
Mm-hmm.
And so Toomes vultures up, grabs a Chitauri weapon, and Spidey gets the weapon away from him, but the weapon ends up basically shooting the ship in half.
Yeah.
And
hot dog, not hamburger.
Yeah. not top to bottom.
No.
Yeah. That's a good hot dog bun style. And so there's people on this ship too. It's the Staten Island ferry. And so Peter has to try to web this giant ship together, and it's just too much for him.
He's like, what, 98%, there's one extremely important spot that he forgot to web up.
Yeah, the suit tells him, congratulations, Peter, you were 98% effective.
Yeah. And he's like, what? And then it shows him the one area, and that's when it all just comes undone.
Yeah. But fortunately, Iron Man shows up to save the day. He and his tech basically push the two sides of the ship back together. They weld it together enough so that they can get it to shore and save everyone. And initially, Peter thinks it's just the shell again, but Stark steps out of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because Peter's getting mouthy with the bot.
Yeah. And so Stark just berates Peter for his recklessness, takes the suit back. And Peter says, I'm nothing without it. And Tony says, if you're nothing without the suit, then you shouldn't have it. Takes it back. May confronts Peter on where he's been. He's been skipping school. And he says that he lost the Stark internship. So that's his cover, which is sort of technically true. He's not completely, he's leaving things out. But so a dejected but still resilient Peter kind of re-engages at school. It's kind of like in Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man 2, when he throws the suit away and he kind of re-engages in life as a college student. It's kind of reminiscent of this sequence.
A little bit, yeah.
He apologizes to Liz for the decathlon and asks her to the homecoming dance, which she accepts. Way to go, sophomore asking the senior girl.
That's right.
Yeah. We see a cute sequence of Peter prepping for the dance with May. She's helping him with the tie and practicing dancing.
Teaching him how to dance,
yeah. Peter rings Liz's doorbell to pick her up, and Adrian Toomes answers the door.
Mm-hmm.
You must be Peter. And Peter recognizes him and is absolutely just petrified, ghost white. Toomes ends up driving Peter and Liz to the dance, and Liz asks Peter, how's the internship going? And I'm not doing it anymore. It got boring. And she even says, but you got to hang out with Spider-Man, which catches Adrian's attention. And Toomes starts questioning him, recognizes Peter's voice. Liz even says, you disappeared from my party, which Toomes is that was exactly when this big fight happened. He figures it out.
Yeah. Just on the way to high school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just on the way to the dance.
Right.
And they pull up, and he tells Liz, I'm going to have the talk with Peter, love you, honey, So he dismisses her and then turns to Peter, who's in the back seat, and basically says, thank you for saving Liz in Washington. I will kill you if you interfere again.
Mm-hmm. And everyone you love.
Yeah. This movie gets really real, really fast, right in this moment. Just on the drive to the homecoming dance.
Well,
what a sequence.
When Beetlejuice is your dad, he knows what death is like.
Yes.
So
yeah, that's right.
He has no problem threatening it.
He'll shrink your head.
That's right.
So in the dance, Peter, Liz is inside and she's kind of talking to her friends and whatnot. And he walks in after the talk and he walks up to her and just says, you deserve better than this. And he leaves. Mm-hmm. He puts on his old suit, the pre-Stark suit, just a homemade DIY suit.
Yeah.
And he runs out
which for one of the first times, actually, like last week, one of my bads was how the homemade Spider-Man suits are always way above. So this is, we finally get one that looks the way it should for a homemade Spider-Man suit from a high school kid.
It's like a hoodie with the sleeves cut off.
Just modified sweats.
Basically. And so he runs out the back door of the school and shocker number 2 just they're waiting for him.
Yeah.
They expected this to happen. He just levels him. Ned ends up running out and distracts the shocker with the web shooter, which Peter had dropped because he was still kind of suiting up.
Yeah.
And so he gets the web shooter back to Peter. Peter webs him up, tells Ned, get a hold of Happy. We have to stop Toomes, because they figured out that in the meantime, they had mentioned that they're moving all the Avengers base. They're moving out of Avengers Tower and they're moving it to this compound in upstate New York, which in the future we see is the site of the big Avengers Endgame battle and whatnot. But so they're clearing all this old tech out of Avengers Tower, and Toomes he wants to steal it. So they've developed this was a high altitude device that would allow him to break into this plane. And so basically Peter, he wisely, he left his phone in Toomes' car to track it. So Peter even knew back in the car, he had decided then that he's going to be going after him. So Ned gets to be the guy in the chair, Oz.
Finally.
Yep. So he's tracking Peter's phone so they can track Toomes. Peter steals
all from the high school computer lab.
Yes, from the high school computer lab. So Ned gets to be the guy in the chair. Again, all like you said, from the school computer lab. And so he's tracking Toomes. Peter ends up stealing Flash's car. Peter doesn't know how to drive.
No, he's 15.
Yeah. And so he's trying to follow this signal based on what Ned is telling him, and Peter deduces again that Toomes is going to rob the cargo plane based on where he's going. So Peter ends up following to Toomes' base. He follows the signal there, and Toomes is kind of waiting for him. And he admits, I admire your grit. You can tell Adrian does genuinely admire Peter.
I believe so 100%.
He knows he's a good person. He admires his toughness, again, the grit. And he says, everything I'm doing for my family. I'm doing for Liz.
Stay out of my way.
Yeah. And Toomes ends up monologuing about the rich, including Stark, not caring about them. So it's I'm the little guy. I'm the blue collar guy.
Yeah.
And you are too. We need to stick it to the Starks of the world. Turns out Toomes has just been stalling to get his wings airborne. So he's not wearing the wings, but he's remote piloting them. And basically he uses the wingsuit to bury Peter in rubble, to bring down the this hideout on top of Peter. So that he can basically kill Peter and then proceed with his plan to steal this cargo jet. After initially panicking, and it's pretty genuine panic there of Peter trapped under this rubble, Peter wills himself into freeing himself from the rubble. He's able to calm down, center his strength, and he gets himself out. And just in time for him to web himself to Toomes as Vulture as he's flying up to this cargo jet, and uses the high altitude vacuum seal to break into the pilotless plane. It's pretty cool how they do this. They put like a decoy drone out there so that Happy's team thinks that this decoy drone is the jet.
Yeah.
as they're actually steering the cargo jet off course. Like it's pretty
yeah,
cool.
Yeah. Well, and again, relying on the fact that like Happy and Stark are relying so much on tech that there's no official human oversight.
Yeah, there's no people on the
Yeah.
plane.
Yeah. So you're just rerouting and using tech against them.
So, Toomes sees Peter on the plane and they end up fighting, thousands of feet in the air. And Peter doesn't have wings.
No.
He can't fly. And so he's just on the side of this jet fighting Toomes, who's got this high-tech wingsuit. The jet gets damaged. Peter ends up using the webs to kind of pull the one wing up so it doesn't crash into the middle of downtown Manhattan. He's able to divert it to a beach right by Coney Island, where the fight continues. Again, there's nothing for Peter to swing onto. They're on a beach, and so Toomes gets the better of him, and ends up he beats Peter up. He doesn't kill him, but he beats Peter up and then leaves to make off with the alien tech. But Peter's noticed that as Toomes is walking away, Toomes' jet suit, his wingsuit, is about to explode.
Yes.
Which it does, and Peter ends up saving Toomes from the wreckage, and webs him up and leaves him with a kind of a classic Spider-Man note, to the authorities and to Happy that here's the bad guy. So back at school, Peter thanks Ned for saving him. Liz tells Peter that she and her mother are moving to Oregon, and that she hopes that Peter figures out whatever is going on with him.
Yep.
Teacher Martin Starr tells Michelle, who's now going by MJ, that she's now
didn't see that coming.
Yeah, she's now the decathlon captain. Happy had stuck it at the school's bathroom and talks to Peter. Happy ends up Peter leaves with Happy.
Yeah.
And they drive to this new Avengers campus in upstate New York. And Stark tells Peter that, that me taking your suit was the perfect tough love moment.
Yeah.
And
again, an opportunity for Tony to pat himself on the back.
Because that's what Tony does best. Yeah. And so Tony says, I was wrong about you, Peter. You redeemed yourself. It presents him with a brand new spider suit and an even higher grade, Stark Tech suit. Says there's 50 reporters in the room next door. I'm going to introduce you as the new Avenger. And Peter declines. This whole movie has been about him proving himself. And you know what? I think I'm just going to stick to being a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man and to look out for the little guy. So what Toomes said resonated with Peter.
Yeah.
And Stark begrudgingly accepts Peter's decision. And Peter's like, you were just joking about the room.
It's a test, right? It's
Yeah.
just a test.
Yep. You know it, kid. See you later.
You passed. Nice job.
There's a room full of reporters.
Yeah.
And Pepper comes out and they're like, what are we going to do with this room full of reporters? And Tony turns to Happy. He's like, you still got that ring? And so they
carried this thing since 2008.
Yeah, which was a nice, fun reference.
Yeah.
And so basically they changed the narrative from here's our newest Avenger to Pepper and Tony are getting married, which is kind of some fun misdirect there. Returning to his bedroom, there's a brown paper bag sitting on his bed that says this belongs to you from TS, from Tony Stark, and it's the original Stark Tech suit. So as he's suiting back up in the original suit, the camera kind of pans up to his bedroom door, and May walks in and sees him. Again, he doesn't have the mask on, but sees him in the suit, and she starts to yell, "What the?" as we roll to credits, as Blitzkrieg bot plays again. Some really fun animated credits, kind of capturing some moments from the movie. We do get a couple of we get a mid-credit scene of Gargan, the guy who Toomes was making the deal with on the boat. He and Toomes are both in prison, and Gargan is just furious with Spider-Man, and says, I heard you know who Spidey is, and Toomes denies it. Mm-hmm. If I knew who he was, he'd already be dead. So Toomes keeps Peter's identity secret. And then as we get the end credit sequence. Mm-hmm. Earlier in the movie, we had seen Captain America in a couple VHS grade,
just PSAs Oh, so you're in detention.
Yeah. So you're becoming a teenager.
Yeah, it's all right. No one knows more about body changes than I do.
Yeah. And the end credits one is basically about perseverance and waiting. And it's, sometimes you get let down when you wait. And that's okay. Which is, I still think is the best end credit gag that the MCU has ever done.
Yeah. It's just so tongue in cheek of, haha, you stuck around for nothing.
Yeah. And that's basically, that's the joke.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah. It's like you sat around waiting for big one and this is it. Yeah. Yep. It was fun.
Oh, and that concludes Spider-Man Homecoming. Oz, really good movie.
Yes, I agree.
I think of the three to this point, Holland Spider-Man movies, I enjoy this one the most because it's the smallest. Like, it does have Stark in it and whatnot, but it's the most localized.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah,
the others are good too, but
Spider-Man needs to be in New York for this. I mean, for that, especially early on. Like the next one, like they jet off to Holland or whatever, and it's like Spider-Man's bigger, so he needs a bigger playground, but taking Spider-Man out of New York, it just like they're so compatible together that it just feels different. It's still good film, but it just feels different.
Yeah. All right, folks. Well, at this point in the show, Oz and I give our own unique rating to the movie we've been talking about. In this case, 2017 Spider-Man: Homecoming. Oz, how would you rate this flick?
97 Staten Island Fairies.
97 Staten Island Fairies. I love it. Yeah. Was it Pete Davidson and
Colin Jost?
Colin Jost. Yeah, they bought the ferry,
and they bought it drunkenly and have nothing to do with it.
Yeah, and it's not working, and they're losing money left and right. Yeah. But that's okay, because they're rich.
Yeah, exactly. So what are you rating it?
I'm going to go with 87 shockers.
Okay.
Because we have multiple shockers in this movie.
Yes, we do.
Mm-hmm. Folks, every week, Oz and I scour the interwebs searching for unprofessional reviews that tickle our funny bones, and we hope they tickle yours as well in this week's edition of Outside Insight. Oz, my friend, what is your Outside Insight?
Mine is from Josh Lewis on Letterboxd. Josh didn't like this film.
Okay.
Gives it 2 stars. And he says, when I grew up reading Spider-Man comics, I really related to the parts where Peter Parker got handed state-of-the-art tech to beat up working-class laborers that were screwed over by his billionaire mentor. Fond memories of Devin Faraci saying Michael Keaton was a Bernie bro when this came out, LOL. Anyway, pretty cute and funny and well performed outside of every decision they made to make this look as visually bland as every other one of these movies and strip my fave comic book character of any drama or details about his class status. 2 stars. Thanks, Josh.
Thank you for sucking the joy out of this movie.
No kidding. So what are you giving it?
I got 2. As always, my reviews come from the Internet Movie Database, with the first being a 2 out of 10, left in July 2020 by Steve Jr. Okay. With the subject line, "Good grief, this is horrible." Oh, I think it was Charlie Brown.
I think you're right. Good grief.
Appears that the writers confused being an inexperienced, innocent adolescent with being a bumbling idiot. He's supposed to be this intellectually brilliant student, but every move he makes is a mistake riddled with buffoonery. I think the writer has watched too many Pink Panther and Mr. Bean movies.
Mr.
Bean.
Probably.
I would have liked it better if Peter just kind of bumbled around everywhere with a teddy bear under his arm and just Teddy
bugs his eyes out all the time.
The other one is a 9 out of 10, left in December 27th, 2019 by Presting D, with subject line, "Great movie." Tom Holland knocks this performance out of the park, from the cheesy one-liners to the awkwardness of Peter Parker. Was happy that they stepped away from the older movies and didn't do another How He Became Spider-Man movie, because we already know how it happened. Lastly, Vulture was sick as hell as a villain.
Sick as hell.
He was sick as hell. Was sick AF.
That's right.
Thank you, Presting D, for your a luminous insight there. All right, folks, it's that point in the show you've all been waiting for. The Let's Talk About Flicks signature segment, the 3-2-1, in which Oz and I each get 3 goods, 2 bads, and 1 about this week's movie, Spider-Man Homecoming. Oz, what are your 3 goods?
My first one is I really liked this. This felt like a Vulture origin story and not a Spider-Man origin story. We see a lot of times where the motivation, and granted, up to this point, the 2 that we've covered have the main villains have been scientists that are just trying to do good, and it goes against them. So it's not even like villainy by choice as much as it is, just their experiments have gone awry kind of thing. Vulture, he's pissed, for lack of a better word. I mean, and that's his origin story is I'm a hard worker. You're taking my work away from me. So I really like that this feels more like a Vulture origin story. My second one, Bokeem Woodbine.
Yes.
We love a Bokeem Woodbine, and we got a Bokeem Woodbine. So that was a fun addition. And third...
What was why am I blanking on it? It wasn't Soul Food.
No, it was Jason's Lyric.
That's right. Yeah, we did Jason's Lyric a couple of months ago with Bokeem Woodbine.
Yeah, and so that was fun. And my third good is... the Liz's dad reveal, like ride to the dance, like from the moment he opens the door to the moment Peter gets out of the car. It is arguably the most tense scene of any Spider-Man movie that there is. Like, just
I don't think it's arguably. I think it is.
Yeah, it's just because it's Peter Parker. It's not Spider-Man, and he's caught. And he knows he's caught, and he's a kid, and he can't experience his way out of it. Yeah. And I love that scene. That's 100% on Tom Holland and Michael Keaton. When Michael Keaton wants to be intense, he can be intense.
Yeah.
And so that's my third good. What do you got?
My first good is I love how high school Peter and Ned are. Like they're buddies. They're into their own thing. They really captured kind of the frantic energy of being a high schooler kind of in this generation. And that you didn't quite get, it with the Maguire or Garfield movie. And again, there's some scripting and stuff there too. So I'm not blaming that on the actors, but like they did a really good job of like nailing that these are high school kids.
Yeah.
These are 15, 16-year-old kids. And,
let's write them that way.
Ned's Mothra shirt. I loved, Peter has a shirt at one point that says, "I love an electron. Are you positive?" Like, like the Legos and like, just the, Ned's desire. I want to be the guy in the chair. And like, it's just they nail how high school things are, and it's just I thought it was very authentic in that way.
I agree.
My second good is how everybody thinks Aunt May is hot.
Yeah,
which is very different from was it the Rosemary Harris portrayal of the characterization, I should say, of Aunt May in the Tobey Maguire movies, let alone the Sally Field's mailed-in performance in the Amazing Spider-Man. But like everybody thinks Aunt May's hot, and she is. Like,
she is. Well, and it finally plays in of the age gap makes sense.
Yeah,
like Rosemary Harris is old enough to be Peter Parker's grandma.
Yes,
but because Tobey Maguire was older, you could cover it. But it's like no, like she should be younger.
Yeah,
to just be the aunt, and I agree. Marissa Tomei is hot though.
Yeah. But like Happy, I listed Happy, Tony, the bodega guy, Ned, the Thai waiter who gave them the free sticky rice pudding and winks at her. It's just like it's a running gag. And Peter, it's like you don't quite see the eye rolls, but you could feel Peter's eye rolls as he's noticing.
He's used to it.
Yeah, it's his hot aunt that every guy they run into is into. It's just so funny.
Now, does that mean, and this is just a general question, does that mean Peter also knows his aunt is hot?
I think he knows that other guys think he's.
I mean, I'm not saying that he thinks she's hot, but just recognizes
he can
beauty
recognize
for beauty.
she's a pretty woman.
Yeah.
And then my third good is the low hanging fruit one. The Captain America videos are just great.
It's a great touch.
The fitness video, the detention, like he turns the chair around and sits on the backwards chair. So you got detention.
Yeah. I love just how locked in all of these MC actors are.
Yeah.
Like I've never gotten the vibe that any of them, like their ego is like, I'm not doing that. Like and I could be wrong, but that's the vibe I get from this whole like phase 1 Avengers group is that like, you need us, we're in. Like, whatever you need us to do, we're on board with. There is a day, well, that's not in my contract, or, it's nope, fine. You need me, I'm in.
Yeah. Yeah. It was just those videos were so great and so spot on. So those are my 3 goods. Oz, what are your 2 bads?
My first one is Vulture's goons roaming the high school. Like their kids are at school. This is like Midtown New York high school. And these 2 guys are just, did you check into the office? Do you have a visitor's pass? They're just roaming.
You just took my That's okay.
Oh, like they're just roaming the high school. So that's my first bad. My second one is so Liz is running the homecoming dance and is one of the last ones to arrive.
Sure.
That doesn't check for me. Like she would have been one of the first to arrive just to ensure all of the decor and everything is ready and set. Nope, she's one of the last ones there. Dance is in full swing by the time she and Peter show up.
Yeah.
So that
good point.
That was one of my bads. Like she, as locked in, and I won't say controlling, but just as detail oriented as she seems to be, I have a hard time believing that she's okay being late.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I see that.
What are your 2 bads?
My 2 bads. The first one is an easy one. Sony somehow screwing up the 8 years later timeline. Like I remember seeing this in the theaters and seeing that and like, wait a second, like this doesn't add up.
Mm-hmm.
And like recently I remember they've tried to, I forget how they tried to rework the timeline to make it work, but like Sony screwed that up.
Yeah.
And like the MCU involvement didn't catch it, and like it screwed up the timeline, which is a very nerdy canonical bad for me, but I'm still gonna go with it.
Well, but it just shows that while we can get to it more later, obviously, but when Sony is left to Sony's devices in terms of Spider-Man, it's they did fine with Spider-Man 1 and 2. Amazing. They made money, but you take Spider-Man out of a Spider-Man universe movie for Sony. Like I've not been impressed when Sony's just left to their own devices with the Spider-Verse.
Yeah. Agreed. And I think that's an understatement in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
So that's my first bad. The other one is, as much as I like Michael Keaton, and as much as I did like the Toomes is kind of, looking out for the little guy, it was almost too much sometimes. It's almost like he was too blue collar. Like those Halloween mask wearing Avengers, those bozos at damage control.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to take care of my family.
Right.
Wears a lot of flannel. Guys like us, they don't care about you and me. Like
right.
They really laid it on thick.
Cut to the house he lives in.
Yeah.
He's not mowing his own grass. His wife doesn't work. Like he's blue collar at work. But he takes that money and enjoys it.
So it was almost like I get what they did with the character, and I did like the direction of the character, but it was it was almost just too much. Those bozos at damage control. He wouldn't say that.
No, you're almost waiting to see him put on a red cap on his way to go somewhere else.
He's got the Punisher skull on his sleeve.
Exactly. Yeah.
He backs his car in every part.
He backs his truck into everything. Yeah.
with his dual wheels.
He's got tribal tattoos on his biceps.
So those are my bads.
That's
what's
fair.
Your, huh?
I've got a throwaway and then a real one. My throwaway is did Toomes have a henchman at every high school exit? Or how did Shocker know he was coming out of that door?
That's a good point.
So that's my first huh. But my real huh is, when does Tony work on Spider-Man suits? Because I get that he had the one ready for him with the training wheels protocol. But then when he takes him to upstate New York, he's got a new and improved, even more feature-ridden Spider-Man suit ready for him. So when does Tony work on Spider-Man suits?
That's a good point. Tony's a busy guy.
So those are that's my huh, is when does Tony work on Spider-Man suits? But yeah, my other one was my original huh, but was like, how did Shocker know he was coming out of that exit?
Yeah, I like that. Schools have a lot of doors.
Yeah, because he's ready. I mean, he punched him in the next week right away. So it's a good thing he left that exit, not the front door where he came in. So, all right, what do you got?
My huh, it was originally going to be how did Shocker 2 get into the school? But I'm going to go with right at the end. If the dance in the beach battle was a Saturday. And then Peter's at school on Monday and runs into Liz, and Liz says, "Mom and I are moving to Oregon."
Yeah.
That's a pretty speedy 36 hours.
Yeah.
Toomes getting arrested and
incarcerated in a weekend.
Yeah. And like all the legal fallout of that. And then Liz and Mom decide, we're going to move to Oregon.
Yeah. We're going to get out of here.
And that's a lot of decisions in a 36-hour window.
Yeah. Close that real estate deal real quick.
Real fast.
So like, since Saturday night, my dance was ruined by it. Well, no, she probably finished the dance. She had no idea what was going on. So yeah, you're right. In the course of it, my dad almost died, but then got arrested, tried, put in prison.
It was a fast proceeding.
It's Sunday court. But meanwhile, while dad's doing all that, mom's on Zillow. Buying and selling real estate. Oregon, and we're out of here.
We're moving to Oregon.
Yeah. So I understand Liz. I understand Liz saying, "I hope you could get things figured out, Peter," because clearly in her household things move fast.
Yes, very quickly.
Yeah.
That is Spider-Man: Homecoming. Really good movie.
Yeah, very good movie. I agree. Let's do another one.
Let's do it. We're going to keep going with Spider-Man movies.
Yes.
And as you mentioned before, we're done with the movies featuring a live action Peter Parker.
Yes. Yeah. We are going to pivot next week, and we are going to watch another Sony product. This time they nailed it.
Yes.
And we are going to watch Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. A Miles Morales Spider-Man adventure.
Yeah.
The first of a trilogy that they've got working over there. And
probably a top 10er for me.
Oh, this movie is amazing. So amazing. So, but yeah, we're going to be back next week with Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse for week 4 of Spider-Man month. Social media wise, you guys can find us on Facebook and Instagram. Check out the website, let'stalkaboutflix.com. And we will be back next week with Miles Morales instead of Peter Parker, although we have a few Peter Parkers.
We have Peter Parker's is.
And so for another episode of Let's Talk About Flicks, I'm Oz.
I'm Curtis.
And we'll see you next week with Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.